Hey everybody, it's Nick97 here, and this is part 0 of my walkthrough on Super Mario Galaxy. In this episode, we're heading to the library, which is right here, and I've done my best to make sure I didn't accidentally go in there and set off this cutscene. But, anyway, there's all the Lumas, and there's Rosalina. Hi, Rosalina. Whoa, she actually said that one. That's crazy. Let us begin. Alright, for those of you who don't know, this is kind of like the story of how she ended up on this observatory. Chapter 1, The Celestial Duo. Our story begins a very long time ago with a young girl. One day, this girl spotted a rusted spaceship holding a small star child. What's your name? Are you lost? The girl asked the star child. I'm Aluma. I'm waiting for Mama. She's coming for me on a comet, said the star child, who had been waiting day and night. Don't worry, I'll wait with you, the little girl promised Luma. That's a big freaking telescope. At nightfall, the little girl borrowed her father's telescope and peered into the sky. She looked and looked, but saw nothing. Hours turned to days and then years, but still the sky revealed nothing. Finally, the little girl sighed and said to Luma, "If we stay here looking much longer, I'll be an old lady soon." But then she had an idea. Why don't we go out there and find your mother ourselves? The girl and the Luma fixed up the rusty spaceship, and then the two set sail into the starry sky. And this is how the search for the Celestial Mother began. Nintendo logic there in a spaceship with a window. Oh, that don't work. Chapter 2, Starbits. Days passed with no sight of the comet, or even a single planet. Instead, asteroids extended as far as the eye could see. If I'd have known it was going to take this long, I would have packed more jam, said the little girl above the rumble of her belly. Before they left, she packed all the essentials: telescope, butterfly net, stuffed bunny, bread, milk, jam, and apricot-flavored tea. But I forgot to bring water. At this, the Luma burst into gales of laughter, and the girl began to pout. As long as I have Starbits, I'll be fine. Want some? The little girl couldn't stay mad after hearing this. Luma continued to laugh, and the girl couldn't help but join in. Alright, maybe a nibble. Leaning far out of the ship, the pair began to collect Starbits with the girl's net. They almost fell out a few times, but they kept on collecting. The Starbits tasted like honey. Chapter 3, The Comet. A beam of light pierced through the ship's window. Thinking it was the morning sun, the girl peered through the window, only to find a turquoise-blue comet shimmering at her. The little girl shook the sleeping Luma awake and shouted excitedly, "We have to get to that comet!" That was a really girly voice, I know. The pair descended on the comet and found that it was made of ice. It looked high and low, but Luma's mother was nowhere to be found. Exhausted, the little girl sat down with a flop, utterly unable to take another step. Look! Peering down at the icy ground where the Luma was pointing, the girl suddenly noticed a cluster of Starbits encased in the ice. "Pretty good, huh? Finding Starbits is my specialty," said the Luma, beaming. "Well, if it's your specialty, why did you need us to feed you so much?" "There's ice here, but it's so warm. I'll bet there's water here, too." The two decided to stay on the comet for a while. Riding the turquoise comet, the pair continued to search for Luma's mother. Chapter 4, The Dream. One night, the girl dreamed about her own mother. "Where are you going?" she asked. Her mother's back retreated. Without turning, her mother replied, "Don't fret, dearest. I'm not going anywhere. I'm always watching over you, like the sun in the day and the moon in the night." A wave of sadness washed over the girl. "What about when it rains and I can't see the sun or the moon?" The mother thought for a moment before responding. "I'll turn into a star in the clouds and wait for your tears to dry." When she awoke, the girl's face was damp with tears. "You have star bits in your eyes," said the Luma to the girl. "Don't eat them!" "That'd be weird." Wiping her face, the girl replied, They're tears, not star bits. I'm crying because I'll never see my mother again." At this, Luma began to cry too. "Mama, oh mama, wah!" The pair traveled through the starry skies and though they encountered many other comets, not one of them held Luma's mother. Luma was despondent. Now, Luma, the rain clouds won't go away if you keep crying," the little girl said, giving the Luma a squeeze. "I'll give you a present if you stop." The girl closed her eyes and said gently, "I'll take care of you." With these words, she felt a small spark in her heart. Chapter 5. Home. "The kitchen will go over here, and the library will go over there," the girl said busily to herself. "We'll put the gate here." Ever since the girl took Luma under her care, she'd been bustling about at a feverish pace. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it to make a happy home. It turns out the star bits weren't the only thing buried in the ice. There were tools and furniture unlike anything they have ever seen, and the girl used them to build a home, with a door that is smaller than she is, but a massive hallway. Looking at the completed house, Luma remarked, "Don't you think it's awfully big for just two of us, with a library, bedroom, kitchen, fountain, and gate?" It was certainly spacious, but still something seemed to be missing. "If only my father and brother and mother were here," the girl said wistfully. Indeed, the house was too large for its two small residents. That night, clutching her favorite stuffed bunny close to her heart, the girl fell asleep in the starship. Chapter 6. Friends. One day, the girl was sipping tea. A tiny apricot-colored planet appeared on the horizon. From that planet, another Luma of the same color emerged. "Do you two know each other?" the girl asked the Lumas. Despite the girl's excitement, they seemed uneasy. The two Lumas neither drew closer nor backed away from each other. Instead, they just stared. Then one Luma broke the silence. "My mama." At once, the apricot Luma parroted back, "My mama, my mama. My mama, my mama." The two Lumas began to dance around the girl frantically, and neither of them showing signs of stopping. The girl was so charmed by this adorable scene that she couldn't help but laugh, and that's when something very strange happened. Suddenly, more Lumas began to pop out from the apricot planet. They were different colors and all began shouting the same thing, "My mama, my mama." The sight of all of the girls shouting Lumas only made the girl laugh harder. "What am I going to do with all these children?" The Luma started staring blankly as she doubled over laughing. "I guess I'll have to name each and every one of you." Tomorrow, once she had finished naming all of them, she would begin moving all the Lumas into the new house. Oh boy, I don't know if we're going to finish this on time. We may have to make another one. Chapter 7, The Telescope. After seeing the 100th comet, a sudden thought popped into the girl's head. "I wonder if my home planet is still as blue as it was." With that, she remembered her father's telescope. Peeking into the telescope, a tiny blue dot floated into sight. It was smaller than a star bit. "How strange, it's so far away, but it feels so close." Wow, that's a powerful telescope. She twisted the knob of the telescope, and the blue dot grew until she could make out a grassy hill dotted with flowers. It seemed familiar to her. Zooming even closer, a terrace on the hill came into view. "I used to go stargazing there when I lived on my home planet." She remembered rubbing the sleep out of her eyes as she followed her father up that hill to look at the stars. She remembered how she and her brother would sled down that hill. She remembered having picnics with her mother on that hill on bright windy days. And "I want to go home. I want to go home right now." The girl burst into tears, and the Lumas didn't know what to do. "I want to go home. I want to go back to my house on the hill. I want to see my mother," the girl was shouting, and her face was wet with tears. "But I know she's not there. I know all along that she wasn't out there because in the sky, because she's sleeping under the tree on that hill." The girl's cries echoed through the stars, and a hush fell over the area.